Hello, and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Baer, and I'm here doing a cool building stream for you. I'm going to wait for a few more folks to join us in the chat before we get going, because, we're only got a few viewers right up top, usually has a few, but that's okay, because we can chat, we can figure things out, we can make sure that everything's good with our levels. I can say hi to Harold, who's saying hello in the chat. Throw the Bear Cave emote in there. If you're a subscriber, you can throw that emote in. Let people know what's what. Um, Hello, Aeronautical. Uh, you're asking what's up. Well, I'm gonna do a build stream tonight. That's kind of what's up. We're waiting for Lastbrook is here. Hello, Lastbrook. Will Smith is hosting. Thank you, Will, out there for the host. And we'll hopefully get a few more folks joining us just watching a build stream. Just, breezy, easy. Um, Now, if you're very quiet, if I'm very quiet, you might hear some bass of some speakers because there is a party happening outside. My landlord is throwing some sort of get together that has live music and it's very loud, and I didn't know it was happening, and it is very loud. But I shut all the windows, and I am behind me is a window facing the street, and the party is in the back of the house that way. So hopefully we are enough distance. Hello, Mr. Bob, and welcome. Hopefully we're enough distance apart from the two that it isn't like super noticeable. I can literally feel the bass vibrating the floorboards just a hair. I'm pretty sensitive when it comes to that stuff, but like it's a lot. So hopefully that won't disrupt us. Luckily it is not super hot. It's not coming through, says Mr. Bob. That's good. I can hear it in the background, but my mic isn't picking it up, which is good. So we've got the Norn. I'll bring the Norn up here. We can take a look at this Norn. Um, and we've done just about everything. We're going to work on the shield, which is actually there's a lot of parts to the shield. So we're going to finish that. And then once we do the shield, we will be just about done. I mean, we can do all the stuff that makes it destroyed mode and which is his upgrade thing. Destroyed mode is basically like this thing, where like all of the uh, yellow and orange is noticeable. But I'm not really going to worry about that. So we don't have much left of the Norn to build, which is cool because it is a real grade kit, which means pieces just fall the fuck off, and I'm kind of tired of it. I think this kit looks rad as hell, but real grades are kind of annoying. So I am excited to work on, does it come with the big dumb club hand? No. Lastbrook, we're going to build a shield, and we've got this gun, and that's it. So we've got the shield is all we have left to build, and it's a big old shield that like expands and contrasts, but it doesn't come with a big fist. It does have these the backpack's kind of cool. I'll say that. Backpack's pretty neat. But yeah, no big fist. Or club hand. Yeah. So I'm excited to put this one to bed, and then we'll spend the rest of the show working on our Deathscythe high grade. You can see I haven't worked in a high grade in quite some time. I'm excited. Look at these big old pieces. Look at how big that leg piece is. That's a leg right there. And just the fact that we're going to work on a kit that has the plastic kind of rubbery connector pieces, which you don't find in a real grade at all. That'll just be nice. That'll be nice to do. You're a real grade 78 to Wisconsin Park. Yeah, the real grades don't seem to work. Yeah. Some of the later grades I hear good things about. Now, I will say this. The Gundam, the Wing Gundam from Gundam Wing, real grade, seemed to be pretty good. It was the early one, the transforming one, not the Zero. Board just subscribed. Endless 8 months. Thank you for resubscribing for 8 months in a row. Thanks for letting people know. Yeah, those that have auto renew, you should always have that thing kind of towards the top near where cheer is. That lets you click that to let me know that you're resubscribing. Board, I really appreciate that. Thank you for continued support. All right. Well, hopefully a few more folks will join us. If not, that's okay. You know, occasionally Saturdays are kind of light, and I'm fine with that. Let's go over here to the Banshee. So yeah, we are working on the Banshee. Oh, so one thing I will say, I did kind of mess up a piece. There's a piece in here in the barrel that is not right. I think I fucked it up. Um, and it means that this piece isn't clamping on like it should, which is a bummer. It basically just means that this weird blade thing that should be in here is falling off, and I'm going to tape it so that it is still displayable. But yeah, that's been annoying. I'm going to put this right here so we can see it. Yeah, I think so. I'm waiting to jump into Master Grade for the next one. Yeah. Uh, you broke out your turn A Master Grade. That's awesome, Mr. Bob. Yeah. So I like. I've done so many different things, right? I will say this: the full mechanics line, which is the 1/100 scale, not quite Master Grade. I like those with the full skeletal insides. I like the full mechanics. That was fun to build. I enjoy a good high grade now and again, especially for kits that just you can't get otherwise. Master grade seems to be the sweet spot for me. Now, I will say this. Uh, you love blue sticky tack. Yes, Mr. Bob, you have recommended that in the past, which I do appreciate. Now, I will say this though. There is one thing I haven't built. The the um the Reunion 100s, the RE 100s line. I now have one. I have a what is it? Bawu. I have a Bawu from Double Zeta Gundam, which is the 1/100 scale. It's somewhere between It's somewhere between a high grade or not high graded. It's somewhere between the non-graded and a master grade and the 1/100 scale. I don't know who bought it for me. It came anonymously. Asmo bought me a Lego set, the U-Wing fighter. And Mr. Bob, was that you? Oh, Mr. Bob, thank you so much. Mr. Bob bought me the Bawu. I'm going to update. I put the video out today where I talk about it in my Build with Baer mailbag number 20. And I will update the show description to mention that that's from you, Mr. Bob. Thank you so much for that. So either the U-Fighter or the Bawu will be doing after we do the Deathscythe. That's next on the agenda. Will be one of those two because they were bought off my wish list. Anyway, let's build. Let's get to building. Lashbrook just cheered. Have some bits. I only had to sell a small part of my soul for them. Well, I appreciate that, Lashbrook. Thank you for selling a tiny bit of your soul so that I can have some bits. All right, so we are going to work on our shields. It is cool enough in my apartment right now that I can do building the way I like to, which is building here and having the instructions there and having my arms over the instructions. This is how I prefer to work. I wasn't able to do that lately because of the heat in my apartment. It was just too warm to do that, so I couldn't. But now it's not that warm. I'm able to do that. All right, so we open these up. That. Make sure these are nice and open. And then we're going to put this in, then that goes here. Goes there. And doesn't go there. Okay, I'll figure this out. This won't be too bad. The Bawu is real cool. Also, hi Asmo. Yeah, that thing is real cool looking and real weird looking. Twitch Prime is a deal where you get 400 bits for watching an episode of Jack Ryan. It's not a bad show, but still, that's kind of interesting. That's an interesting way to do marketing, is to be like, hey, watch this thing, and we'll give you some biddies. I guess, you know, they hope they can sell a few copies, a few credits that way, get you to watch it, huh? Get their numbers up on one of their own shows. It's kind of interesting. All right, so this has to go. The pegs out to that. We got going on here. Harold is now hosting. Thank you so much, Harold. Appreciate the host, letting people know they should be watching this stream. Thank you for that. Uh, yeah, I mean, oh, Sin. Hello, Sin. Um, it's very fiddly. The real grades, for the most part, especially the first couple real grades that came out, are pretty dang fiddly. Um, thank you for the bits, Harold. I appreciate it as always. Harold keeping his spot on the cheer tab, making sure that he's still recognized as being a cheerer. Yeah, it's very fiddly. I think I don't like real grades. Now, some of the kits that come in the real grade is the best way to get those kits. I understand, as I understand. I'm occasionally wrong and fine with being wrong. But for the most part, my dealings with real grades have been that I don't necessarily love them. Um, who knows? Someday I could find one that was like, that was an awesome build, and that was so fun, and I'm so glad I did it. But for the most part, I'm not super thrilled with how they run and how they work. Um, yeah, so they're not my favorite. I'm excited for the Reunion 100 to see how that build goes with the Bawu, um, because, like I said, I've never built one of that scale or that style, so it'll be good. We're basically making necklaces for my real grade Saku. Yeah, I'm just not thrilled with this with the construction of these kits. Now, to be fair, I'm not great in the 144 scale. I don't enjoy the 144 scale. In fact, you can see my Amazon wish list, which obviously I'm going to link to later. I put up some high grades, which normally I don't build in, but they're kits that I want to build, and those high grades are all 1/100 scale. None of the 144 scale for that, because I just, the 1/100 is kind of my sweet spot. Um, I do enjoy that scale. And, okay, so we need 05 and 04. Yeah, those are generally what I enjoy doing. Um, so I put some because the Gundam kits. There's a couple Gundam kits, Gundam Wing kits that I just would like to build. I'd like to build the Endless Waltz version of the Heavy Arms because I think it looks dope as hell. That's a high grade. And the upgraded version, either the Endless Waltz or just the regular old upgrade version of the Shenlong Gundam. I think both of those are very cool, and those are in high grade. So I'd like to build those as well. And then someday I'll build a Sandrock. It is the holdout of the original series. It's the one I haven't built. It's my least favorite of Gundam Wing Gundams. I don't think it's like my least favorite Gundam, because I certainly there are other Gundams that I'm not as thrilled with, but it is it is easily my least favorite from Gundam Wing. I put this on wrong. I'm going to pop it out, hopefully, easily. Let's see if we can pop this out. I put this wing on the wrong side, and then I'm going to try to work it out without breaking it, because that would be a bummer. These are not meant to be removed, but this plastic is pretty lightweight, so I am going to try to push it out. As you can see in the overhead, this is on the wrong side. This should be on the other side. I'm going to double check, do my math, make sure that I am right about that. Yep, I put this on the wrong side, so I'm going to slowly try to work it out. Just using, there we go, got it. I just used my tweezers, but I kept the cap on, which was just enough pressure to do it. So then we'll make sure that I'm doing the right one, which is this one. Haha. And then same thing on the other side. The most ludicrous Gunpla is is the size of a small child. Yes. The Neo Zeon. Yes, I have seen that kit in person. There was a anime store moons ago in New York that had that in display. That has since closed. I don't know why Gundam Planet does not have it. It's not part of their collection, although they do have quite a few kits out there. And I think it's Image Anime is the store in New York that I have been to. I haven't been to Image Anime. I have not been to Image Anime in a while, and that would be. That's a place I should probably think about going and paying a visit to, because it has, like I said, it has been a while. All right, so then we need M and P again here. P is a sheet we haven't used at all. It's tiny, but we've used it. The 083 model armor, yeah. Yeah, there's been some big ones. The Sandrock is not very unique outside of its weapons. Yes, Mr. Bob, those swords are blades. Well, we'll call them blades. Are very interesting and unique. But the Sandrock looks like the main Gundam in another Gundam show. It doesn't look like. It looks too much like. Basically, what it looks like is the scientist that worked on that one. Because for those who don't know Wing's story, it's the one dude made the best Gundam as a prototype, but he didn't have a pilot that could run it. And then later, four other scientists, and that guy made some Gundams based on the original idea of the Gundam. And so it's like, basically, it's just like, yeah. I feel like the Sandrock Gundam, the guy was like, kind of like the prototype. I'll put some big blades on it instead of having it transform and fly. It feels a little lazy compared to the other designs. Because like the Shenlong is like, I got an extended arm. The Deathscythe is obviously. The heavy arms is like, what about a gun arm? Like there's big choices are made in the other kits, and I feel like the Sandrock is just like a cloak. We put a cloak on it. Mr. Rob says the Neo Zeon is the final boss in Gundam Breaker 3, but instead of its mobile suit, it's the mobile suit. Oh, that's cool. I'm also excited for the Bawu because I can't wait to build the two parts and transform the two parts because it's silly. It's very silly. The transformation on that kit it looks pretty good in the RE scale. I'm also just excited because I've never built anything that scale, as I said. Not that scale, that grade or style or whatever. Wait. Did I do this wrong? I did do this wrong. Okay. That makes sense. All right. Yeah, I mean, there's been some big Gundams out there. But yeah, I updated my list with some stuff that I thought would be cool. Y'all have been coming through and buying really fun kits for me to build, which is awesome, and I'm very thankful for that. But I want to, yeah. And then I will, next week, make some purchases as well. Although my backlog is pretty good right now, like pretty decent. The kits that I have to build, I'm very excited about them. And I shouldn't be missing any streams for September or October. I mean, of course, New York Comic Con is going to come up, and I will be hosting at least one panel at New York Comic Con. So I don't know when that'll be. That might unfortunately interfere with, my schedule of streaming. But as of right now, I don't think it will, and which would be awesome, because I'd much rather, go there during the day, come back here and stream at night, because y'all are cool. Sin, I don't think there is a Wienermobile model kit. I wouldn't be surprised if there is. Certainly, obviously, there's going to be a Wienermobile, cars out there, but I don't know if any of them are model kits. Who knows? Okay, so that slides up. That's fun and nonsense here. Okay. So this is one of our shield pieces here. It's cool because it has a sliding mechanic. Slides up, slides down, and then you open to reveal more of this dumbness to it. It's fairly cool. It slides around. I just popped it apart. Of course I did, because I was showing it off, which is the mistake of any real grade kit, is showing it off. Buh. All right, let me get that back on here. It's a lot of articulation. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to it. It's just not exactly what I want in a kit, as far as it's like just pieces popping on and off all the time. Not thrilled with that part of the deal. All right, so let's slide this like that. This goes on here. I'm going to get this right, and then I'm going to put it aside and start working on the other parts we still have to build of this shielding unit. Why are you being so annoying? All right, there we go. Nope. There we don't go. This is starting to bother me. I would stop doing the real grade, but they have such an iconic most. Yeah, I mean, there's some really cool stuff in the real grade line. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I won't build them anymore, but I am saying they are right now, anyway, at this moment in time in my building career, they are not my favorite. When like as compared to other, like yeah, I earnestly and honestly would just build master grades if that was an option. If I could just pick a scale and a grade, it would be 1/100 master grades. Great. Okay, we're putting that aside for now. I connected it all together. Let's get working again. M11, M10. We're building. I gotta remember to build the middle again, because it's cool enough for me to touch this with my arms. Okay. 10. I like the RG isn't huge, but also cheaper than mill grade, but especially the first 7 kits are weird as fuck. Weird. Huh. That's very weird that they make you reuse. That's very strange. Yeah. Yeah, some of the real grades are very weird. I have done some research in them. It's, I do a little bit of research here and there on the different kits, but yes, they are certainly cheaper than master grade, but I don't like the 144 scale as much as I like the 1/100 scale. Now, of course, there are other benefits, like the fact that I'm going to mail this kit out at some point in the future. It's nice that it's cheap. It's smaller, so it'll be cheaper to mail. Speaking of which, I have not heard from someone, the winner of, at the end of each month I do a giveaway. I pull from the names of subscribers and send someone a kit. Have not heard from the winner of the last kit, which was a real grade kit. So I'll wait for them. I'll give them until the end of the month, and if I don't hear from them by the end of the month, then I will just draw 2 names at the end of September, and I'll mail 2 kits out, which is not a big deal at all. And I'd much prefer to mail kits out, but if I can't mail kits out, do what we gotta do. All right, so that goes like that. Then this piece goes in. Oh, it goes in there. I get it. I believe I agree with you. The first 10 kits in any line are often not great. There's a learning curve. Yes. Yeah, the first perfect grade is that Eva suit. Yeah, I have the Eva. I have watched people build that. Um I throw out trees almost immediately. I will clip pieces out that are, like this is the piece you put in there so you can put it on stands. These are the alternate hands. I will take all those out. I will put them in a box. Now, also, you have to understand that most of the kits that I'm building, I'm going to be mailing out to y'all, to subscribers, not to everybody, but to subscribers. So I'm looking to have as least amount of stuff in the box so that I can put compressed air or paper in there so that I can put it in a box and so that it doesn't rattle as much. So having a bunch of these like take up space is sometimes good and sometimes bad. Uh, the one thing I love is the instructions that list out the tree and what parts will be used. I enjoy that as well. But yeah, I always toss them. I always throw these away when I'm done. And occasionally I have missed like one piece, but I'm pretty good at not missing those pieces. So, like I'm about to pull this out here. This is P1 goes on this side. P2 goes on this side. And P is done. So P can go over into a trash pile. A non-food based trash pile I have in my room, just waiting to go into a regular trash receptacle. Then we need M2 and M1. But yeah, I love throwing away trees because that tells me that I am close to being done as they start to decrease and go away. That goes there. I have a collection, and they've saved them a ton. Oh yeah, the rubber tree stuff. I keep collection as well, and that has also saved me when I've accidentally like snipped something, and I can dig through a big box and find stuff. I also accidentally bought 2 full mechanics, so I have a full mechanics of an Ironblood Orphans kit, and I'm keeping that other one for spare parts, but also I'm keeping it for all of the rubber pieces, for extras, and then also like I'm going to theoretically at some point in my days, I'm going to be working with someone for a series, not on this channel, but another series on teaching them the basics of model kit building, and we're probably going to use that kit as like trees I don't care about, so like snipping pieces out to like, hey, let's practice on this instead of a thing that you need. Because like, I could have mailed that kit back, but I was like, it didn't cost that much because it was just, like I said, it was just the mechanics, full mechanics, so it wasn't super expensive, and a kit that I already had. And it's like, oh, you know what? It's good to have some stuff you can clip out that you don't care about. That's rare to have that. So, right. So this goes here. This goes here. Yeah, it just feels very helpful to me to have like a few things for emergencies. But yeah, having a bunch of these is incredible. Just having a bunch of these random things, like I always save these. High grades, master grades, whatever. Just having like a few extra is so choice. Especially when it's the same like line of like kits. If you're building a lot from the same line, having some spare pieces. If you just like clipped out a thing wrong or shaved it down too much or whatever, you've just fucked up. You went to pull a piece out and just completely destroyed it, which has happened. Oof, that's rough when that happens. All right, so let's get going on here. We need M8. Got M1 over here. The last save I used the wrong type earlier in the kit and did not want to find out where I used it, tearing the kit down. Yeah, Mr. Bob, I hear that. The folks that, there was a couple of y'all were around for my first build where I used the wrong screws for the for that Gundam, the Shining Gundam, and I had to go back and like unscrew things to replace it. It would have been a lot easier if I had just had extra screws. Oh, every once in a while I look at the one master grade I haven't bought yet, the German model kit one for G Gundam. But then I think about the screws that would be involved in that kit, the Spiegel, and I haven't bought it yet. Also, I've never seen it have Amazon Prime. It's always like a really weird price because it's not that common a kit. Because who talks about G Gundam more than me? No one. No one talks about G Gundam more than I do. I've been looking at some of the high grades for that show as well. There's some high grades that look pretty cool. I've been thinking about that, but I don't know. Um, the Bawu did come from Japan, Mr. Bob. Yeah, it's the box is unfortunately it the box itself was wrapped in plastic to kind of keep it together, but it was just put in a bag, which is what happens when you order from that particular place in Japan. So the box is a little dented. Everything's fine inside. The box is just a little caved in the corners. It is a little worse where there's the end of that sheet. Um, but it is. I'm still excited to have that. So thank you very much for that, Mr. Bob. Yeah, I mentioned it in the video that it's a little beat up. Okay, Lastbrook, you might know someone that talks about G Gundam more than I do, but you have to admit, I do mention it quite often. Uh, yeah, it didn't have any packing. It was just like it was in like an international wrapping bag, and then had that there inside of it. Um, I mean, that's what happens when you're not getting it through, a seller here in America. But then also you're, hopefully saving some money by going through that way. I don't know. A lot of the Pokemon stuff that I've bought has been through that kind of a thing because that's just the easiest way to get it. All right, so snip off this excess. And then this goes into here. Okay. And then the same thing on the other side. Oh, gotta clean up this excess. Austin does mention wanting to like it, but Austin can't watch anime. uh, look, G Gundam is hard. You have to forgive yourself for a lot of things to like it. It is a tough show, but I think the concept is so good. I would actually love another crack at it. I would love them to do another version of that, even if they didn't call it that. I mean, in a way, um, uh, Gundam Builders is that show. Um, although it honestly is more like Mega Man EXE or Rockman EXE in Japan. In many ways, it is that show of just like the best parts of everything and then fighting. I got a Gundam sent to me from Japan, and it was immaculately wrapped in both tissue paper and bubble wrap. Wow, Lashbrook, that sounds rad. I've not been that lucky. Almost everything I've bought from Japan for model kits has been uh, Gundam. Usually the boxes have been damaged, unfortunately. Uh, but not severely damaged, and the kits have never been damaged. So that's the most important part. Is like if the kits are fine, and the box is a little weird, it's like whatever. No, you're not looking at the box. Occasionally you look at the box, but you're not staring at the box. All right, that's the end of that sheet. We are definitely getting towards the end here. So this is like this, flipped over. These go. Wait, no. This. Which way? 2 dots. Okay. Ah, got it. All right, so then this goes. All right, got on there. Oh, that looks kind of cool. The shield pieces are pretty neat here. Yeah. This does look like a pretty neat kit. Okay, and then there's the square, which goes. All right, so then we have to. What about this piece? Where's this piece go? Did I not? Was I supposed to attach this piece to this? Yes, I was. That makes sense. Sometimes you just don't add a thing like you were supposed to. Every once in a while, I just, miss a part of a step. I'm not perfect. I'm no perfect creator here. Especially, as I said, this is what happens when I build a kit that I'm not familiar with. I only have to go on the reference of what they tell me. I can't go on my own knowledge. This Deathscythe that we are going to build, I am not worried about messing up. In fact, I can't wait to show you a thing I did on there that I don't normally do on kits. Because I know it so well, I was not scared to do a thing I don't normally do. So yeah, we'll take a look at that in a minute or two. I love build, but the last season has me falling off. The first season, so many characters that I love. Yeah, I watched the first season. I did enjoy it. Haven't watched Beyond Gundam Build. Try, is that the new one? Build Try? I can't remember what it's called. Try feels like a thing that is just like a video game thing, and then also that. All right, so then this goes. Now I put these pieces that I already put on, I put back on because I didn't do it right. Now I put these back on, and they fit on even better. And make more sense. All right. And then this goes. So. Like this. It goes on like this. Trying to extend all these things out here. This goes in, which makes sense. Like that. These go out, which makes sense. And then this piece goes and locks it together. All right. Our shield is good. Now, a cool thing about our shield is that you can on this side, you can put one of the beam katanas on there. Try is the second. Divers is the third. Thank you, Mr. Bob. Try is the second season. Great. So you can put a bunch of nonsense on this shield, which opens up quite nonsensically, like all the other parts of the Destroyed kit. You can really goof it up. It's just silly. It's just a silly thing, like all of this. I like it, but it's nonsense. Anyway, that's our shield, which is probably put on his arm. On there. Just gonna put that there. I'm glad y'all can't hear the music because I can just lightly hear the party music in the background. So I'm glad that my mic isn't picking it up because it's not annoying. I mean, it is annoying, but it's not like so loud that I can't concentrate. But I would prefer it didn't exist. But yeah, all right, that's going to be all our pieces here. This thing goes on the back as well. It locks in the backpack if I want to do that. I do prefer it to just be on an arm. I think that's way cooler. And then I can do different things to make it burst and all that, but I'm not going to worry about it. Uh, Unicorn has some really dynamic Gundam. You're totally right. Also, the skirt pieces just fall off all the time, and these little leg pieces fall off all the time too. And I hate it. I don't hate this kit, but I do hate a lot about it. I think it looks rad as heck. I just think that the build quality leaves a lot to be desired by me. But yeah, that's going to do it for this Gundam. Oops. Put this piece back on. This is the Banshee Norn. It is a real grade, which is the 144 scale, with some bells and whistles that you would not find normally in a 144 scale kit. That is what the real grade is. I don't remember how this piece goes on, so I'm going to deal with it later, because I'm tired of looking at this thing. And the leg fell off. Also, this leg just falls off sometimes. I'm not being bitter. I'm not mad and I'm not bitter. I just... What the fuck? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I can do with the legs to, like, the legs and the arms and all these things to make it all destruction. But destroy, I mean, not destruction, destroy. But yeah. You're super excited to build a Turn A because it means I'm going to be looking for Turn A designs for hours. Yeah, Turn A designs are just so weird. I really do enjoy them. All right, let's see if I can put this arm thing back on here. There it is. All right, so that's it. That's our model there. Going to open up the wings some so that it lays a little flatter. So when I take a photo of it later, it'll look real cool. And then this thing, which sticks out of the gun, you could also just have it hold it, which is like, okay, sure. Instead of the beam katanas, you can just have that thing. This lives on the back too if you want, and you've got options. Whatever. All right, this is going to go aside over here because I got to take a photo of it later. And it's time. I've been waiting for this. Oh yeah, then I have all these extra other things that I'm going to just take like one piece out of that you're going to live in there. But yeah, it's time. It's Vader time. It's not Vader time. It's Deathscythe Hell time. We're doing it. Boom. The Deathscythe Hell. Or, as it says on this kit, the Deathscythe H. Now, this is a 1996 release. I am very excited to work on that. This is an old kit. It's got stickers. I'm going to try to put the eyes on. I don't know how that's going to work. I've got, look at these big old, you can't, this is hilarious in my screen, but look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that green. It's even more, it's not as vibrant on camera. This is a person. I love this neon green. It's my Deathscythe green. I'm so happy, as you can probably tell, to be working on this kit because I love this kit. I love these kits. Oh, I want to show off one thing before we get going. What? Look at see this right here? Those are stickers. Before, while I was getting my fingers warmed up, I applied stickers. You can see where it came off. Now I fucked up some other things, so pretend like you didn't see that part. Only look at this part here. There used to be 4 stickers there, and now they're on this because I need my shield / drone to look cool. There's some other stickers that like I probably won't apply. They'll be on the ribs, the rib cage of our Gundam. Probably not going to apply those. The stickers that go on the legs, might not apply those. The eyes, I'm going to try to apply. I don't know. I don't know yet. It depends on how it looks while I'm doing it. Because I'm very bad at applying stickers. And I'm scared of them. But I had to make this shield look as good as it could. So we went for it. I'm now going to tweet out uh, that I'm starting Deathscythe. I hope you're ready for it. I mean, I am. Uh, just pull my keyboard here. Here's my little wireless keyboard. I got a wireless keyboard and mouse. Just a little tiny dongle, USB dongle goes in, and then there's batteries in both. And then to save battery, this thing shuts off, and I have to press a little button sometimes, and there's a little delay. The nice thing is that even if this keyboard is in sleep mode, uh, when I start typing, it remembers the first key I did. So even if it's waking up, it still hits the first key. Start the Death Scythe. Hell. All right, tweeting it out. Yeah, and it's a tiny little keyboard. I don't have to unplug my keyboard from my computer when I set my table up, so that is just helpful. It was like $16 for the pair. I like big stickers. I can't lie about big stickers. Yes, I enjoy big stickers. But here's the thing, as you know, I don't like stickers. I like decals. Don't like stickers. Anyway, that's H2. We're not going to see that for a little while. That's just some gold pieces. I'm very excited to work on this. Oh, that's right. Those pieces, that sticker goes on the outside of our shielding. So, obviously, big old wings that fold up in the second Deathscythe. This Deathscythe has shielding, which is very fun. There's the Buster Shield and the Twin Beam Scythe. Oh, I love looking at it. I love looking at this. Look how tiny this. I mean, it's a high grade, right? But look how tiny this booklet is. I also love that it says Deathscythe H, not Deathscythe Hell. That it's Gundam Wing. Now, towards the end, everything says Endless Waltz, even if it's not an Endless Waltz kit. At the end, they just started calling it that. So this is pre-Endless Waltz as a OVA. No English anywhere. Fucking figure your shit out. Oh, so excited to do this. So happy to build. Oh, I remember these connectors. This connector, these pieces here, you're gonna need. You're always gonna need so that your knees bend properly. This is exactly what I want to be building right now. As you're well aware, I love the Deathscythe. It is my favorite kit of all time. My favorite Gundam of all time. The Deathscythe Hell Custom, I think, is my favorite. I like the twin beams of the Hell, but the custom wings, like the bat wings, it's just so classic and beautiful. I think it's such a wonderful design, and so that's probably my favorite of the Deathscythes. But there's something really nice about this kit as well. Something cool and unique about it that I just enjoy. It's just he because it always comes with double hockey sticks. Yes, yes, the Gundam Deathscythe he. Yeah, this is just a good old school kit. I think there's a reprint of this that came out that is the Deathscythe Hell. That is the same kit. It's the box art is a little different. It came out a couple years later. I just went with the first one I could find that had, Amazon shipping and wasn't like silly expensive because this is obviously an old kit. And I'm excited to build it. So this goes on here, and then we need B, which is we need some connector pieces here. H's and A's. With the high grades, I don't even worry about snipping these. I just twirl them off, unless they're got 3 connector, but they rarely do. And then we need B. B here. Yeah, I mean, There's not a lot to say about this kit other than I'm excited to build it. I think Duo rules, Duo Maxwell. Uh, I'm probably going to watch a little Wing tonight. I am now in the mood to just jump to a random episode and watch some Gundam Wing. Uh, Maybe I'll watch a high schooler tear up an invitation to a party. Just be a mean child soldier. I don't know. Or I'll watch some fights. I'll watch maybe a dashing fencing match, perhaps. I don't know. Some very silly stuff in Gundam. Watch Hero pilot the Epion for the briefest of time. Alright, so that's one. Let's do the other side. We're just doing the same thing we just did. Yes. Yes, Mr. Bob. I appreciate the idea that they're like, hey, so G Gundam was weird. We also are going to do an out-of-universe, out-of-main storyline thing. We're not going to have new types. We think that the main guy is probably an equivalent of a new type because we will do the zero system eventually. But we won't start off with the zero system. We won't start that off, but we will eventually get to the zero system and that kind of a thing. But we're going to focus on just these weird assortment of child soldiers that we have and how they deal with their own trauma of being child soldiers and being assassins. And some of them are just seem to have no emotions. Some of them have been hypnotized to have no emotions. One of them tells jokes to fucking deal with it. And then one guy is just like, I don't know, still nice. Just trying to be nice. Just trying to be a good guy. Or someone's obsessed with honor, which lets them cleanse their palate. And then Dorothy and her eyebrows. What the fuck? Am I right? What the fuck? Yeah, and you got your wannabe Char. The show has everything. Didn't he get in the Wing Zero and lose it? Yes. That's the main thing is that he is the most well-adjusted, which is why he shouldn't have gotten the Zero suit because you can't be well-adjusted. You have to be a special. I mean, like, there's no new types in Wing, but like, you got to be a new type. You can't just like pilot that thing. You like the Wing Zero and the Epion, which is based on the Zero system. Like, you can't just be a dude, a guy, and like pilot that thing. That's not going to work. Even yeah, a good your best anime is going to have some. Your best Gundam is going to have a Char like. You need a Char like if you're going to do it up. All right, so this is what I love about high grades. Like, so these pieces are huge. The feet are huge. Now, obviously, if we're doing a master grade, these legs would be unbelievably big, but they are not unbelievably big. They would be. I mean, they'd be unbelievably many pieces. They wouldn't be this big. The horn in the shoe would be its own piece that would interlock with 6 other pieces, and then there'd be a weighted pulley system thing to make the leg pieces connect and the ankles. And in high grade, it's just like boot. I made a boot. There, I hope you like this. I hope you like my boot. I made it myself. And then you could put, we'll do the other one now, but Obviously, there are 3 other pieces that go on it. It's not just this, but yeah, you're not getting a lot of skeletal working. You're not getting a lot of those like tiny weird little pieces that when you bend the legs, you can see them move with it. That you see in some master grades, especially the last few years of master grades have that. None of that with this. I also like that the hell upgrade is like 2 toes, 2 horns that stick up, not 1. This one has 2. That's the big upgrade. All right, so we need H19 and Bs again. That was one thing I did like about the Divers series. Their brute shot of team made up of char likes. Okay, that sounds rad. I like that idea. Just like a whole team when you look at them, you're all like, "Hey, why do all of you have masks on? What's up, dudes?" I think that's pretty funny. So all right, we're gonna do I'm gonna finish up the feat here. Then we're gonna do our pause for the cause, where I tell you about ways you can support the streams and all that. And then we'll talk about anime because I don't have a lot to talk about with anime, but I do have a show that I watched today that I want to bring up because it was really good. It was a really solid episode. So we'll talk about that. But I'll finish the outlayer here, and then I'll do the pause for the cause because it's been an hour. I've been streaming for an hour. I do like that idea of the a char team. It's pretty fun. All right, so this goes on here. That's B10. The other one is B8. This will be a quick build. I don't think this is an hour build, but like we will on Thursday. Like I'll say this. This is not a 3-hour build. I am not expecting this to. I am expecting to be done with this next Thursday when I stream again. I'll say that. Fully expecting that. I go a little slower than I would if I was just like listening to music or podcasts or whatever. Because, we're talking, I'm checking chat and all that. But, high grades are not complicated, especially a high grade that I know like the back of my hand, like this one. So I expect we'll be done with this on Thursday, and then we'll either do the Bawu or we'll do the Lego Star Wars Rebel U-Wing Fighter. One of those 2 kits will be the next kit to build because they both came from y'all, from Mr. Bob and Asmo, respectively. I'll have my $10 Patreon supporters vote on that. I'll probably put that poll up on Monday. And then, yeah, I'll know what I'm going to build after this. Let's see. I just ordered an irresponsible amount of food and felt like sharing my shame with strangers. Hey, Asmo, here's the thing. If you don't throw that food away, if you save some of that food, then you're feeding yourself again, and you are proactive. If you eat it all tonight, well, you needed it. So you're being honest with yourself. If you throw food away, that sucks, and I can't really find a silver lining on that. So either eat all your responsible amount of food tonight or save some for later. Those are your options, I guess. Anyway, it's the time of the show, an hour in, where I put a bunch of links in the chat, and those links are also in the show description on Twitch. First thing I want to put up is my Patreon. So one way to support the channel is to become a subscriber on here. If you can't subscribe and you watch the shows, you follow my Twitch links, become a follower, set up your notifications so that you know when I stream. That's one way to do it. You can also back me on Patreon. My $5 get videos. They'll get an archive of this. Tonight, they get all my videos early. I always put them up early. Tomorrow, they're going to get my Let Pat Play, which goes up on Monday for everyone else. Another way to support me, like I said, $10 also get the vote on there. Another way to support me is by buying something off my wish list. Like I said, Asmo and Mr. Bob bought stuff off my Amazon wish list, which is awesome of them. I have 2 kits for that. I've got some other kits that I bought myself. The wish list, I always put up stuff. If there's something that should be on that wish list, you're like, hey, you should build this thing. Tell me. I'll put it up there. Maybe you'll buy it. Maybe someone else will buy it. Maybe I'll buy it later. I don't know. That's another way to support. I also have the tip jar, coffee.com, ko-fi.com/Pat Baer. I'm going to get the link right now. For my mouse is being annoying, and I keep pasting the previous link instead of copying. That's my coffee. That's a tip jar. Any money I make from the streams through Twitch, Patreon support, the money I make in tips and cheers, like we got today from Lashbrook and from Harold, which is very nice. Thank you. My coffee tip jar. That all goes to me buying kits or equipment. Like this keyboard came out of funds. Keyboard and mouse that I'm using so that I don't have to, every time I stream, go and unplug my mouse and from my computer, which is over back there, and plug it in and move a bunch of bullshit. It was so annoying. Why was I doing that for so long? Any support you can give is great. Tell friends. That's huge for me as well. It's very good. I have a Discord. I'm going to copy the Discord. Here is the Discord. You should join my Discord. It's nice. There's the build photos category in there for people that post projects they're working on. You can always tweet those at me, but it's also fun to do it in there. I have got the improvised post-mortem, which I did at PAX a week ago. Here is the archive for that. Here's the archive for the first ever Build with Baer Lego Challenge. I did a Build with Baer Lego Challenge. It went awesome. Charlie Chu from Oni and was great. Abby Russell was fantastic. I learned a lot doing it. I'm going to do it again at Unplugged, the November/December, PAX Unplugged in Philly, the end of the year. Hopefully that's going to be okay. At the end of the year, hopefully it'll be streamed. I learned about positioning and how to do things. I learned that 84 pieces is too small of a kit. I'm going to be looking at maybe like a 200-piece kit because I'd actually, would rather 150 to 200 because I'd rather they have less time customizing it and more time building the actual kit. I think that would be more fun. They finished in like 20 minutes, 15 minutes. It was too early. You are right, Sin. The fall that Kate Welch took was unexpected. She's okay. And now I learned can't do that chair thing. Who cares? The podium is great. Who cares about coming up the podium? Have them sit in chairs at the table. Have them sit together. That's all you need to do. Then I just have to move the display monitor for them. No problems whatsoever. And then, yeah, that's it. Let's get back to building. Those are the things. The Lego Challenge is very fun. My voice was pretty shot at that time because I'd done so many panels at that point. So that is my biggest regret about that particular event was that my voice was kind of gone. But it was really fun, and everybody, Charlie was great, and Abby was great. Like I said, I'll be doing that again. Hopefully it'll be streamed when I do it the next time. That's the hope anyway. Yeah, then people will be able to watch it live. But I learned a lot about it, so. Yes, Mr. Bob. The League of Heels went up yesterday. It is on the League of Heels, youtube.com/League of Heels. The full video is up. Eric has gotten faster and faster about getting those edited together. I was pleasantly surprised he got it done this quickly because he had to drive back to Saskatchewan from Seattle. So, but he has, usually the thing is the last day or sometimes even for him 2 days, but in this case, the last day, he has time to start doing the editing process and digitize everything and starts looking at things, which is very helpful. And it makes it a lot faster for him to put the things together. Like the fact that he got my panel done so fast, the Lego panel, I was very, very surprised and very pleased that it was done so quickly. All right, so I'm going to try to move this stuff up here so that you can see it better as I'm building. This there. These go here. Just got to do that. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it was a very cool. All the panels I did this year were great. I don't know what Dave is going to do. I think he recorded the. Don't quote me on this, but I believe that Dave Lang recorded the audio of Let's Rank It. He doesn't get that show filmed, but I think he did the audio. And then um, Brad Lynch, aka Marino, Giant Bomb moderator, his photo collection. He took a lot of photos from Let's Rank It, so you'd be able to follow along on that if you listen to it. I would recommend doing that together. All right, then I need C, and then I need some more of these pieces. Cool, cool. We're going. We're doing it. Uh, yeah, the League of Heels show turned out, I think, great. I think there was the technical problems that we had were one was mostly just that I was running the tech and also interviews, and that was should have been someone's job to get the videos ready, get not the video, getting the audio ready, getting the things we needed done, finding the people, jumping back and forth between the PowerPoint and our keynote in this case, and the so jumping back and forth between those things, making sure that the next people were ready, and then letting me focus on doing the interviews. Instead, I did both things because at West we don't have as much tech help. So that was kind of, I knew that, but still was doing it, and that is a lot of the lessons that I have to learn in my life, and maybe you can learn this lesson from me. Um, Sometimes you just need to get help. Don't do it all. Don't try to do it all yourself. I mean, that was the thing. It was just like, and then also the technical difficulties of like, oh, weird. The game I picked isn't great. That's not a technical difficulty. People will tell you that that was a problem. I don't think it was a problem. It was a bad game. Yeah, I had them play a bad game. Wrestling Revolution 3D is not a good video game, but like is a very fun game to watch, and then it's a terrible game to watch, and then it's a fun game to watch again. So like, yeah, mission accomplished. Oh, I do want to say, the very first time, the very few first times that I did a high grade kit like this, for some reason I assumed that flat wouldn't be the front, and this would be the front, and so I would put together like this would just be flipped, and then so like the legs would just bend completely wrong instead of how they bend here, which is like this, like a good bend like that, and even like that. I would never get that. I would always do it wrong and have to fix it every fucking time. I could never nail that. So I'm glad that I'm now, as I'm approaching my 40s, I'm finally able to do that part of this kit right the first time. Log with difficulties like ECW without blood or WCW without terrible selfish booking. Yes, very true. Uh, and now we get Legacy World. So, Sin, to pull back the curtain, um, I was fine, and I said this. I was fine with either Kate or John winning the first match, and we didn't want to rig the second one. I don't even know how you would rig Quiplash. You could. Have to tell people to throw it, I guess. But even then, you can't really pick with the audience. I love the idea that a belt, we didn't know who was going to win that belt. And I love that. And then, obviously, like, storyline-wise, it would have made probably more sense for John to win the Wishes match. But also, like, Kate won. And, like, having Kate win a thing is great. And we'll find out what their other wish is in the East Coast. And then also, like I said, the East Coast, we have a tech crew at East, former harmonics gentlemen that don't make it out to West. So that's why the N64 will go through a frame meister and look good. Someone will enter all the right info and make sure that the rumble is correct and we are playing the rules we want to play. They will reach out on their own to our tech, to the tech people in the room to make sure that everything's good. Uh, and then I can work on getting and we can run the PowerPoint off my laptop, which means we'll be able to edit it closer and closer to the show. Um, because a thing that happens a lot is we ran the PowerPoint. Uh, Dan was just being Dan. I think Dan had to pee. Dan was annoyed that I didn't let him go pee, and I was like, "Well, what the fuck are you talking about?" Dan was just being whoever. I was fine with whoever won that one. Uh, Tracksuit did great. I mean, Jeff, whatever. We break kayfabe on this program. Jeff is an incredible actor, um, and it's very fun to give him a platform to be able to act and like really portray a character and really go for it. It's very rewarding to me that I can allow that to a venue for that. It just fucking rolls. Um, uh, 16 goes on this side, 15 goes on that side. Okay. Yeah, it's just great. Um, Dan always needs to pee. You're not wrong. Yeah, so we're gonna bring the Rumble back to PAX East. We started the Rumble. The very first Rumble was at PAX East, so we did 2 Rumbles in a row, and then we were like, "What if we didn't fucking do a Rumble?" That's why we did the first PAX Mania at East, because we had done 2 Rumbles in the same year, and we were like, "This is untenable." So we're gonna bring it back after taking a show off. We will most likely use Aaron's N64. I guess we could use another one. I'm excited because there are folks that don't go to PAX West that we would love to include, but with limited numbers in the non-Rumble shows that will be able to feature in the Rumble. So I think it's going to be interesting. What was the year with 90% no wrestling games being played? I don't know what you mean. Oh, I mean, that was our last PAX East show. This PAX East show, the 5th Paxomania, we ended up having so many technical difficulties that we called a bunch of matches. That in our first year at we were so behind schedule. Our first the Paxomania that we did on the main stage, we were so behind schedule that we just a couple of matches just ended in bribes. Also because the USB hub for the controllers got disconnected from power, and suddenly several controllers didn't work. Technical difficulties are completely nonsense. Yeah, there was a PAX East show where we just we had the rich guys, Anthony Carboni when he played the gentleman, with Johnny Cashinova, just paid off people because we were like, nah, we don't. One thing I'll say this is, I'm pretty good at of creating a thing and working on a schedule. The fact that we had 3 matches, they all ran the length they were supposed to. We didn't do Final Quiplash. Mostly, even if we had been really ahead of schedule and we would have killing time, we were not going to run Quiplash, a Final Quiplash, because you can't do custom things for Final Quiplash. It has to be that, and it's not as fun. Not as fun at all to do it that way. So, one year it's 2 matches. Yeah, we've had that in the past. It's usually technical difficulties. Occasionally it's time, but mostly it is because something just isn't working. Which is why at Southern Slam we ran on the N64 and just did matches. Which is why the Rumble, once it gets going, the biggest problem with the Rumble is if we don't have the Frame Meister, we have to have people who can get us an RCA out. And we now have an S video to VGA adapter. It's actually a VGA to S video adapter. Now some folks might remember these weird things. It's blue, and it's got a RCA in out and a S video out and it has a adapter and you plug in a VGA cable. It's meant for laptops to hook up to televisions. But because it's all analog, the reverse is true. You can output an RCA or an S video signal to this box and then get a VGA. And we have that for when we go to places that don't have RGA, like the yellow input, the RCA input from a N64. For folks that are like, no, we can hand them that, and we go, well, here's a VGA. So we have that thing. But the fact that at East we have the FrameMeister means that the N64 will run without any problems. I'm excited to see how Unplugged goes and happy there was a trial run with Uno. Oh, God, Uno. Yeah, I mean, a lot of our main stage PAX East show that year was also just people yelling at each other and lots of plot because we were on the main stage, so we thought we'd fill it with content, with like character work, because people seem to forget that sometimes they forget that that N64 video game is bad to just watch. It's not fun. It's the least fun part of the show. So if we do other stuff, we do other stuff. Oh yeah, didn't want a cocaine Uno joke. Um, it reminds me of someone started streaming a X360 using RF out to an HTV capture. Hey, I mean, you do what you can. Like, that's why I don't own the FrameMeister. That is one of our helpers in Boston has a FrameMeister, and I'm excited that they do because this last PAX East when we played a game on it, like when we've used it, it works the best. I mean, just having people like when we run, we've had Brian at PAX East from Video Game Championship Wrestling. When we've had him, like, it means that I don't have to think about tech stuff. Like, the only thing I have to think about for tech is I have to think about, like, the PowerPoint. You may have noticed that the PowerPoint we ran at PAX, this previous PAX, was a keynote running on my iPod Mini. Not iPod, my iPad Mini. So my iPad Mini has Keynote on it. I loaded a PowerPoint in Google Drive, and then ran it through that because there's a Lightning to HDMI adapter, and that's how we had PowerPoint because the laptop we normally run PowerPoint on or Keynote or slides or whatever I was using for the show. So the fact that all that worked is great. Because sometimes that HDMI adapter for laptops just doesn't work. And I would have had to track down a laptop that had Keynote or PowerPoint. I had it on a USB. It would have been fine. But I don't like that. I don't like borrowing or counting. I don't want to be like, hey, you brought your laptop, right? Because there was one year, and someone will remain anonymous on this, that someone told me they were bringing their laptop to PAX. And then it turned out they didn't bring their laptop to PAX. They brought a very old Gen 1 iPad instead because they were like, well, it took up less room. And we didn't have an adapter for it. And I had to find an adapter. I had to find a 30-pin to VGA adapter so that we could run PowerPoint off this person's original iPad. And I was not happy. So it is nice when that stuff works out. So yeah, I try to just do it all on my own often because I love everybody and appreciate everyone and their hard work. But sometimes you just need things to get done, and so you got to do it. I started doing weekly WrestleMania 2000 stream. I saw that Harold. Harold has been making some promotional video stuff in order to plead his case for being included in the Rumble. Sin, I also pack too much gear. Um, walking in there because, like I said, sometimes the HDMI adapter that I have just doesn't work in certain venues for no good reason, no understandable, no reason that I can figure out. It just sometimes doesn't work, and I don't know why, but it just isn't working. And what the heck? Why isn't this working? I've had that happen enough times that um, I had that PowerPoint we needed on a USB in my email, um, on a different USB in the cloud, and I had my adapters for my iPad Mini, for my phone. Like, if I had to, I would have run them on the same computer and just, tabbed back and forth way more. Luckily, I didn't have to do that because that would have been annoying. But, sometimes you just got to get it done. But yeah, Harold, I did see that. Hello and welcome, folks. We got a few new folks joining us today. Um, we are going to be streaming for another 40 minutes or ish. So hello and welcome. This is the Build with Baer workshop. We are working on the Deathscythe Hell High Grade. Now, normally I do Master Grades for my Gunpla, but the Hell is not available in Master Grade. There is the Deathscythe original and the Deathscythe Hell Custom, which is from Endless Waltz. We've built those. Those are in Master Grades, and we built them. But I want a full Deathscythe collection. And if this is the only one, uh, only way to build it is the highest grade possible. Well, that's what we're going to do. So we're working on that now. And thank you for joining me. This is build stream. We do Lego stuff. We do model kits. We talk about anime. In fact, it's time to talk about anime. So the show I watched today was Cells at Work. Last week, the last episode, which happened while I was at PAX, did not love that Cells at Work. It was not my favorite. It focused on the what's that fool's name? It focused on one of the cells that I don't like, the killer T cells. It was focused on the killer T cell. He's the least favorite character in the show. So an episode focused on him, I wasn't into. This one focused on our friendly oxygen delivering, CO2 returning B cell. Very good. Just cool. And then a fun thing that happened this episode. I won't go too detail on it. Obviously, for those that haven't watched the show, watch it. I think it's very good. It expresses the human body as like a city, and the various cells in that body are, various cells that are living and functioning within the body in like cities, and it's just a cool show. So one thing they do is we got introduced to the nasal cavity, and they decided to treat the nasal cavity like it is a hot spring resort, which makes sense because there's a lot of nutrients there for cells. So it like made perfect sense. It was like the perfect choice. I just thought it was such a funny, clever idea of what the nasal cavity would be like. I don't know. And there was like cellular stuff, and I guess I learned something. I don't know. I do feel like I know more about the immune system than I did previously because I just have a very strong immune system. I don't get sick that often. So I never really pay attention to that. So it's been kind of fun to like learn some things. I don't know. For the most part, it's just a cool show. And the platelets are little like kindergartners that are running around, and they're just adorable and great. And I just think that's cute. I don't know. It's just good stuff. Good stuff. That show is very cool. Yeah, I talked about this on Thursday. I'm not thrilled with Overlord Season 3 at all, and this last episode, there were some cool things and some very cool things and some very bad things in the latest episode of How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. There was some cool battle stuff and an interesting concept, but also some really creepy, weird shit that I was like, this does not need to be in this. Why are you doing this? Um, and then I'm behind on some stuff. I'm behind on Yuna. I'm behind on Island. I'm behind on Planet With. A friend of mine's been watching all Planet With, and he's been begging me to watch it, and I haven't. I'm just behind on it, but apparently that show is great. I mean I like the concept a lot. Um, the concept of Planet With is it looks like your typical like these people with are granted magical abilities like Power Ranger kind of show with like cool robots to face evil and this like huge evil threat. But then you find out the main character wants to stop the good guys, and without not a big spoiler because you learn it really early on, that the main character is not the villain. There are villains. The main character is like these superheroes that are trying to stop the villains are just making things worse because the villains aren't their villains' goals aren't wrong. And so you end up having this like other character show up to like beat up the good guys, but you are on his side the whole time. It's really interesting. I've only watched 2 episodes of it, and I guess it just gets more and more cool. So like I don't know when I'm gonna have time, but I'm gonna try to get caught up on that show because I think it's something that I'd like to talk about here. Um, I've been thinking a lot about heroes and villains and that kind of thing because like there are villains in My Hero Academia that kind of make you think here and there, but for the most part you're like, yeah, but you're got a skeleton for a face, so fuck off. It's like, no, you're still murdering people. I don't care if they're not really heroes in your mind. You're still killing them. There's a lot of stuff where I'm like, okay, whatever. Um, but Overlord, like the main character in this season, has been like going out of his way to remind you that like he sucks and is evil and is like does not care about humanity or humans at all. It's like, okay, makes sense. Like, does not have compassion. Is just using people. And you're like, all right, okay. I was able to overlook a lot of that, but they don't want me to, so I should look at it. Which is, I think, is interesting. I don't know. There's something about it that's very interesting to me. When the main character is clearly just evil. And you're like, okay, I guess do I still root for the main character? I don't know. It's pretty neat. All right, so we got our only hands here. This kit only has one pair of hands, which is weird, but not weird for a high grade kit that came out in 1996. But also, none of this is weird to me because I'm very used to these high grades. When I got back into model kit building, which was about 2 years ago, I hadn't done it for a very long time. The first thing I bought was a Deathscythe high grade. That was how I remembered things. When I got into model kit building, which was in the 90s, the early 90s, I got into it as a young man, as a young teen. I was born in 1980, so in 1994, 95, I was 14, 15. My first couple kits I built, I was using kitchen scissors. Or what I would do is if I didn't have scissors, I would do the like twirl until it comes off because I didn't have snipper clips. And eventually I got a pair, went to the hardware store, begged my mom to take me to the hardware store so that I could get proper gear to build. But yeah, didn't have it. Didn't have any of that. Use little tiny scissors. I'm throwing the Bear Cave emote in the chat because chat has been pretty slow. So I want to throw the Bear Cave emote in there. If you're a subscriber, throw that emote in there for me. Let me know you're out there. Let me know you're hanging out. A quiet chat is not a bad chat, as always. I am okay with a quiet chat because it just means that you're like hanging out and relaxed. But, sometimes having a couple prompts here and there is helpful for this guy. Asmo says, I wish more Mr. Media considered our heroes' actions. I love the new Spider-Man, but there's a narrative conceit revealed early on that makes me super pissed. Oh, Harold throws in there. Yeah, I think that's the why we fight, the why, is a very important thing that often is neglected in Western fiction, especially hero fiction. And consequences are almost never considered in American. That's why obviously, I don't know anything about the game. Have not played the game. Cannot speak to you about the game. But I do know that one of the things that has always stood out to me about Spider-Man is that he's the first guy with a day job that had problems, not superhero problems, relationship problems, not having money or time for dating his girlfriend, and trouble at work, and just real life problems. But for a lot of times, especially in hero stuff, yeah, you just don't see them dealing with the aftermath stuff, which is important. But like I said, I have not seen I haven't watched much looking at Spider-Man. I haven't played any Spider-Man. I can't speak to that. Yeah, but I don't know. And all right, working on our face here. So we got our eyes, and we've got part there. So I've got, now if I don't do the sticker, I will have these green eyes, which look good, which you can't see above, but you can see the green piece there. The bottom of that will be eyes, and it's see-through, and I love it. So I could apply that. I'm going to try to apply the chin piece here to make that red. So I am going to work with, I'm going to take my time with it. I'm still feeling a little bit awake here. So I am going to attempt to apply the chin sticker. And then I will also make an attempt to do the eyes sticker. But I will be okay with the eyes sticker not working out. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm just looking at it. I'm just getting a good eye on it. I still have the sticker out. And I'm just I'm trying to get it so, because it has to fold around. This sticker, the idea of the sticker is that it's going to be centered on the chin here, and then it will fold down around it. So if I'm not straight on, when I bend the sides, it won't match. Oh, that didn't look right. All right. All right. And then this just bends there. This does not look great, but it looks better than if I didn't do it at all, I think. So it'll look okay. It does not look great at all. I would say it doesn't look bad, but it does not look great. But I will leave it like that, and I'll be fine with it. Also, this isn't going to go to anybody. This is Deathscythe Hell. This is mine. I don't give out the Deathscythes. Deathscythes live with me. I'm never going. I'm going to build a Deathscythe. I bought this myself specifically because I would feel bad about not giving it away at the end if someone bought it. But I bought it, and I don't give away Deathscythes. I keep Deathscythes. Green Eyes, White Gundam. Uh, all right. So then I like the just see-through golden eyes, but we do have these other eyes, the sticker that we can apply. So I'm going to attempt to apply the sticker. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does work, that's awesome. Also, you have to I will remind you that these stickers were produced in 1996, and the fact that they still work is pretty cool. I mean, they're just stickers. They're just tiny stickers. Who cares? But, like, these are old stickers. The fact that they work at all is pretty cool. Um, Alright, I don't hate that. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Sticker, eyes. Eyes. Great. We did it. Yeah, that chin does not look great, but oh well. Alright, put the stickers away for now. Now we're just going to build the head, which is nice and fast and easy. The head is like 3 pieces, and that's unbelievably ridiculous compared to most kits that I build of the Master Grade line. Uh, I will be embarrassed of Faceless name. Uh, I can totally understand where you're coming from, because you're living in playing a game in a version of New York City where Spider-Man is very helpful to the police is not necessarily the best look in 2018, and I totally understand that, especially helping them in their surveillance state operations. I can totally understand that. Um, Not feeling great about that makes total sense. Uh, it's one thing to be like, hey, he's helping. He's helping the fire department. He's put on a fire. Hey, he stopped that criminal. It's another to be uh, oh, he's making these towers work so that like pre-crimes can be noticed easier. And you're like, no. How about no? How about Spider-Man doesn't want to do that? Spider-Man thinks locally. He acts locally. He just wants people to be safe. There we go. All right. See, like that's not that many pieces, which is that's a very high grade thing, and not a very master grade thing. It's a very high grade thing to just be a few pieces. All right. I'm gonna take that off. I didn't like the chin sticker, and now that's gone. Chin sticker is gone. Eye stickers remain. Pat is feeling okay about that. Is it perfect? No. Is it mine? 100% mine. It's all mine, baby. So it is what it is. I don't care that his red chin is a white chin, because I did not like how that sticker looks. All right. Head's done. Arms done. Legs are done. Time to work on the old chest. H1 13. I am at 40% complete, which is kind of nuts. And the comics he's wanted to win over. Yes. Yeah, I mean, some of it does, but there's a difference between it makes sense storyline-wise, the Faceless name, and it's an activity you want to be doing. Sometimes, it's just like, ugh, this sucks. Like, yeah. Oh, well. fictional New York. I'm excited to see some of their New York though. Uh, I mean, the GTA 4 Liberty City was, in many ways, incredibly condensed about what parts of New York it showed, but in many, many, many ways, incredibly dead on and like really solid and good. Like they would skip, neighborhoods and whole sections and condense things, but Coney Island fucking felt like Coney Island. Uh, um, And I'm not super familiar with LA. I've been to LA, but not super familiar. But LA Noir felt like LA. Um, so it'll be interesting to see Insomniac trying to make a city that feels like that city, even if it is a fictionalized version of that city. Uh, yeah, I've heard very good things about uh, the voice acting. Then I guess the Spider-Man is Yosuke, the English voice for Yosuke. So that's cool. All right, so we got our waist, and we've got. Now we'll build our chest up as well. Just nice and easy, straightforward, simple. Some might even call it basic, but I like to call it nostalgic. Working on a high grade kit from Gundam Wing is very nostalgic to me. I had, in one time in my life, built all these motherfuckers. I built every single one, uh, every single high grade from Wing, because as you're clearly very well versed, it is my fave. But yeah, I built all of them. So building a high grade Deathscythe is very fun. This is a very fun reminder of this kit. Yeah, I built a tall geese and the endless waltz tall geese in high grade and the every incarnation of every Gundam basically I have built at some point or another. But it's been a while. Okay, so then we need H's. We're gonna put some gold pieces in here. Slide them in. Um, yeah, so we'll be going for another 15 minutes or so. Thanks everybody that's watching today. That's very kind of you. Um, this Death Scythe, obviously, like I said, it means a lot to me because this series was my gateway to a lot of anime. I love Wing. I think it's just like such a solid show that it's been very fun to do this. And Death Scythe is my favorite Gundam. So building a Death Scythe is very fun for me. We got the rib jammers. We're putting these rib jammers in. This is like he's got a cloak, but he also has like signal jamming. And I just love the name rib jammer. I think that's what it is, right? Let me look it up. Yes, they call it somewhere. They call it. I don't remember where it is. The rib jammer. Yes, the active cloak and the rib jammers. I just love the idea of like we're jamming the signal via rib. It's just stupid in a way that I really enjoy. Alright, so 22 goes on like this. I remember these pieces feeling so small to me when I first did this kit. These rib pieces here were like so tiny and they felt so fragile. And now I've built kits with such small, tiny, intricate, annoying pieces. This is like nothing, especially with like the ability to and the knowledge to just be like, oh, use my snipper clips if it becomes a problem. If I can't get it in, I can just use my snipper clips. Or my sponger stuff as well. I was saying in the Lego panel that I did, you know, the 24, 22, 22. The Lego panel that I wish that when I was a kid that I had the separator, the Lego separator that comes with a lot of the big kits, that it would have saved me a lot of trouble, a lot of like prying and pliers and tweezers and stuff. Would have been real nice, but alas, it's not meant to be at the time. Uh, you will never have another rib jammers. You're totally right. Uh, I had to I had to put Windjammers 3 in my there for Lang. I knew that was the last one, which is why if you watch the panel, you'll see it says second to last one. That was so that I knew when the last one was up and that I could get Lang up there. I kind of knew like the number, but I had to make sure that I was doing it so that Lang would be the last person up, and then I put myself with Lang so that he could like blame me if he wanted to. But I had to do it with the announcement of Windjammers 2 coming like right before PAX and it being closed door for some people. Um, I had to do it. I had to make a Windjammers 3 joke. It was just necessary. I knew someone would make a joke about puddles. I knew someone would make, you know, a bunch of other stuff, but a bunch of other references of the day, community, you know, getting rid of people, stuff like that. But I was like, I've got to make sure there's a Windjammers 3 joke in this show. And then there was. Great to see Abby in her zone. Not sure I've ever seen her so focused on something she loves. Oh, Abby was like so focused on the whole weekend. Abby was just like, seeing her do comedy stuff, like, I mean, she's a natural. She's, you know, studies improv, performs regularly. It is such a good, solid performer. Um, and oftentimes is just like doing, like, on purpose does a bad job of it, like with Giant Bomb stuff, because it's funny to her to, like, be bad at that stuff, which is weird, but also, like, part of Abby, a wonderful part of Abby. Um, But yeah, like when she was building Lego, she was just so focused, and I was like, "Oh, okay, you don't really want to talk right now, huh? You want to build?" I get that. It was very funny for me. Backpack. Oh, it's such a big piece. Look how big a piece this is. The back skirt, it's enormous. So big. We need Fs. Good to see you. Yeah. Oh, you were to that. We already covered that. Yeah, but that was it was fun having, you know, giving people a platform to do that stuff. I think, you know, like some folks are incredibly funny and super talented, but they don't have a lot of live comedy experience or live performance in general experience. And then I have plenty of friends in the industry that, like, you know, minored in theater, but don't get to showcase that work. Um, or like Samantha did acting, like small play stuff in high school and college, and kind of gave that element of performance up. So it's fun for her to have an opportunity to do some of that. Uh, and then there's some introverted folks that are very nice, and the idea of forcing them to perform in front of an audience, them forcing themselves to do it, gives them the opportunity to stretch themselves. And that makes me happy as well. I was happy to see and hear more from Charlie. I think it was him who brought the. Yes, he did bring the marble race. Yes, Charlie brought the marble race. Charlie was in the second ever PAX Rumble. So that was the one um, at the first one we did at PAX West, And then he's just been a good buddy of mine. We met because of that after the fact. I didn't meet him at the show because I wasn't really working on anything for the show. But like afterwards was like, mutual appreciation society stuff going on. And then found out that his boss, James from Oni, knew of me and liked the shows that I put on, which was very flattering. And it just like made sense that we started spending some time together. And now I have done a bunch of stuff for them. I'll do some more for most likely. So that's F8. Most likely, I'll be doing something with them uh, at New York Comic Con, I believe. So that'll be good. Well, that's F7. Is this one? And then that's F8. These are wrong. These are H pieces, not F pieces. So, fucked up that. That means it's getting towards the end of our stream because I am messing up some pieces here and there. And that's usually a good indication that it's time for me to stop streaming. But yeah, we're almost at 11, so that's probably a good time. I'm going to pull I'm going to stop there. And I'll just mark with a pen, which I don't always do. I don't always mark where I am on the kits, but I'm going to do that there so that I know this is where we are in kit building process. I would have figured it out, but sometimes it's nice to just be like, oh, yeah. Oh, there's a piece I can put on that. There's a sticker I can put on there if I want. But yeah, that's going to do it. This has been the Build with Baer workshop. We finished our Unicorn Banshee Norn from Gundam Unicorn. We are working on our Deathscythe Hell from Gundam. We are going to finish that on Thursday because, I mean, look how much we got done. We just got to finish the rest of the waist. We got to build the backpack and the wings and the gun, the scythe, the gun. And then the buster, and then we're done. Like, very little left. Very little left of this. So I'll know very soon. Have a good evening. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. We'll know very soon what the next kit we're working on. It will be the Baer or the U-Wing fighter. So we'll either do some Lego or we'll do another model kit. I'm going to take some photos of the kits that we built today and get those out for public consumption. I'm going to upload this, send it out. I want to thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have a great evening. Stay safe out there, and I will talk to you very soon. Good night, everybody, and bye-bye.